If you're a CBSE student, listen up, because the way you go to school is about to get a huge update. Starting with the 2026-27 session for Class 9, the way you learn, and yeah, the way you're tested, is going to change in a big way. So let's break down what this is all about.
Here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get into the big why behind all these changes. Then, we'll look at your new subjects, the new language rules, how your exams are getting a redesign, and finally, what this all actually means for you in the classroom.
All right, so let's jump right into the most important question of all. Why is this happening? And why now? This isn't just about shuffling around some chapters in a textbook. It's a completely different way of thinking about education. And really, this one sentence from the new curriculum framework says it all. The whole mission here is to move education away from just memorizing a bunch of facts for a test.
You know the drill, right? For a long time, so much of school was about rote learning, just cramming information from a textbook so you could spit it back out during an exam. Well, the new framework sees that as, well, kind of outdated.
So the new way is all about understanding concepts on a much deeper level. It's guided by India's National Education Policy 2020, and the goal is to help you build skills like critical thinking and problem solving, stuff you can actually use in the real world. And there's another really important piece to this puzzle. The new curriculum is deeply connected to the Indian Constitution. The whole idea is to help you grow into a responsible, ethical, and engaged citizen who really understands your rights and your duties.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does this new philosophy actually change the subjects you'll be studying every day? Let's take a look at the new setup for your classes.
So your course subjects are still there, don't worry. But the list of what's compulsory is getting a whole lot bigger and honestly, more interesting. Art, PE, and vocational ed are now central to your learning. Plus, you'll see some cool new additions like computational thinking and AI, and even interdisciplinary areas, all designed to give you a much more modern education. Let's talk about math. You're actually going to have more choice here. Everyone will take the standard paper. But if you love math and you want a bigger challenge, you can choose to take an extra 1-hour advanced paper that's really designed to test those higher-level thinking skills.
And you guessed it, it's the exact same model for science. There's a compulsory standard paper for everybody, and then an optional advanced paper for anyone who wants to go deeper into the subject. It's all about building a strong foundation while also giving you a chance to specialize.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about languages, because this is one of the biggest updates in the whole framework. It's a huge push to promote multilingualism all across the country. The rule is pretty straightforward. In classes 9 and 10, every single student will now study 3 languages. And here's the key part. At least 2 of those 3 have to be languages that are native to India. It's a really big step in celebrating India's incredible linguistic diversity.
Now, this isn't all happening overnight. The 3rd language requirement is being rolled out gradually. It starts with Class 6 back in 2026, and then moves up 1 grade each year until it fully reaches Class 10 in the 2030-31 school year.
Okay, we've talked about what you'll learn, but how will you be tested on all this new stuff? Well, exams are getting a complete competency makeover. The goal is to make them a much better reflection of what you actually know and what you can do.
Your final marks will now come from 2 different buckets. 80% will come from your final board or annual exam, but the other 20%, that's going to come from internal assessments that your school does with you throughout the entire year.
So what exactly goes into that 20%? It's not just one random test. It's actually split equally across 4 different areas: periodic tests, different kinds of assessments like projects, your personal portfolio, and subject enrichment activities. It's a much more continuous and well-rounded way to look at your progress.
Let's just zoom in on the portfolio for a second, because this is really cool. This isn't just some folder with all your homework in it. Think of it as your highlight reel, a curated collection of your work that really shows off your growth, your creativity, and your understanding over time. It's about the journey, not just the final exam. Okay, let's pull all these pieces together. We've talked about the why, the what, and the how. But what does this new curriculum actually feel like for you, day to day, when you're sitting in the classroom? Probably the biggest difference you're going to notice is a move away from just sitting and listening to lectures. Learning is about to get way more active, more hands-on, and way more connected to the world around you. And to make that happen, your teachers are going to be using all sorts of different strategies. We're talking more group work, more hands-on labs and experiments, and projects that actually connect different subjects together. Your classroom is about to become a much more dynamic and collaborative place. Ultimately, when you step back and look at the whole picture, the new subjects, the different exams, the active classrooms, It's all driving towards one big goal: building those essential 21st century skills. Things like critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, everything you need to thrive in a world that's changing super fast.
So, at the end of the day, this whole curriculum change is a massive shift from what do you know to what can you do with what you know. It's a move toward an education that's more holistic, more about competency, and more centered on you, the student. The only real question left is, are you ready for it?